Just take my hand, it's all the plan, it's all the plan.
Hi, this is Preeti. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are staying safe and doing well. Today's video is in continuation with our gut health series, which we made a video starting with bad breath, which is nothing but the gateway to our gut, our mouth. But today we will be talking about something a little more serious, constipation. So let's get into the video, and this video might get a little bit gross, but come on, please bear with me. So the first question is, how do you know for sure that you're constipated? If you do meet any of the three conditions that I'm about to mention, in that case, you do have constipation. Number one condition is perform a bowel movement less than 3 times a week and often in a hard stool format or pellet form, like, you know, if you've ever seen goat's poop. Second, it is difficult or impossible to pass without any methods or tricks. And the third condition is you never experience the feeling of satisfaction or that you're fully done. So basically, the best parameter for assessing constipation is not how many times you go to the toilet, but how hard it is for you to go. Now, there are various levels of constipation. Temporary constipation can be due to travel or illness or a short period of stress, which is, you know, making you constipated, while more obstinate constipation can include long-term problems for which you might have to consult a doctor. Now, constipation while traveling is something most of us face, including me. Like, I have this not my toilet syndrome. I cannot do my business anywhere else that isn't my own personal toilet. Now, let's talk about this in detail and mainly focus on the tips and tricks that can be used to treat mild constipation. Number one trick is definitely fiber. You've all heard it. Eating more fiber in your diet can definitely help with the motion. The most effective fiber ingredient out there is psyllium seed husk, which is nothing but as isabgol. So that is used by a lot of Indians. I'm sure your parents must have them, because I know my parents have isabgol in their cabinets at all times. So isabgol is like, you know, a simple solution to fiber in your body. Now, the second, some fruits also give you loads of fiber, and the fruit that has the highest amount of fiber is plum. So whenever you face constipation, if you eat plum on a regular daily basis, it can definitely help in completely reducing your constipation. Now, the second tip is to drink enough fluids if you are consuming dietary fiber or taking additional help, because without water, the fiber just swells up and makes it really hard to pass. So it's always very important to drink loads of water. Third tip, and this is especially for me and all of those who have the travel phobia, don't put yourself under pressure. If you need to go to the toilet, just go. Putting already digested food back into the holding pattern even a couple of times can train your gut muscles to go into the reverse gear and make it extremely hard to pass when the time comes. The logic being, the longer the feces stay in the gut, it gives the body enough time to extract more fluids from it, making it harder and harder to go about with your business. So stop your mental block. So whenever you have a mental block that this is not my toilet, just remember the next day it's going to get harder, and the third day even worse. So just do it. Now, the fourth tip is probiotics and prebiotics. Now, I'm sure we've all heard a lot about them, but we have very little information about it. Let's go back to the basics. Our gut consists of good bacteria as well as bad bacteria. Now, what are probiotics? Probiotics are nothing but good bacteria. So we've been asked to inject good bacteria directly, which goes into our intestine and our gut, which keeps it super healthy and keeps the proportion of good bacteria as well as bad bacteria in check. But what are prebiotics? Prebiotics are nothing but food for the good bacteria, and these are found in our everyday kitchen. Now, what are the examples of probiotics and prebiotics? Now, probiotics which are indirectly effective and found in our daily kitchen are examples like curd, pickle, kombucha, kefir, etc. And prebiotics, which act as a food to these probiotics or the good bacteria, are something your regular staples like potato, it can be rice, banana, onion, garlic, etc. But in the market for better and more effective gut health, there are also live good bacteria that come in the form of probiotic supplements that can be ingested, which takes the live bacteria directly into our guts and is the most effective probiotic available. But the issue with this is it is always better to consult a doctor before taking a probiotic supplement. Now moving on to the fifth tip is the rocking squat technique. Now this is something that you will find me doing in my washroom almost every third or the fourth day, and it works wonders. So how it works is simple. Just bend your upper body forward as possible towards your thighs, then straighten up to the sitting position again, and repeat this a few times and it should begin to work. Trust me, it is so simple and nobody is watching you in the washroom. So please give it a shot and let me know if this trick actually worked for you. Moving on to the next trick is buy a toilet stool. Now I have been using a stool ever since I read this gut book, and it has been around 5-6 years and I cannot do without a toilet stool. Now the logic behind it being squatting is the perfect position to do your business, which means our old Indian toilets, they were like absolutely perfect to in the right position to go about your business perfectly. But since modernization and everything, we all have Western toilets now and commodes. But how to get over this position and the squatting problem? All you can do is just put a seat, a toilet seat. You get this on Amazon. I think I'll just link it here. You get easily available on Amazon. Just attach it to your Western commode and that's it. You are sitting comfortably, yet your body is in a squatting position. To be very honest, whenever I'm traveling, I have no issues using an Indian toilet in, a public restroom, because I feel not just position wise, but even hygiene wise, it is so much better than, not being able to fully sit on a Western commode. I find them disgusting. So if I'm traveling by train or a bus or anything, I prefer only Indian toilets. Now these were extremely simple tips and tricks that you can easily do at home. But if even none of these tricks are working, only after you've tried all of these and they are not working, then there is another box of tricks that we can look into. But before getting into this box of tricks, you need to be sure what is the reason for your constipation, and it isn't anything serious. That's important to know. Like I can tell you one instance, like I had severe constipation post-delivery. Like I had just delivered Taksh and the next 15 days were horrible in terms of constipation. And it wasn't because of anything physical. I think it was more of a mental block. Because in order to do your business, you have to apply pressure. And although I had a normal delivery, I had the fear that, something is going to happen. Because of the fear, I just couldn't apply that it's going to hurt me. I couldn't apply even a modicum of pressure because I was that scared. So this had affected me for like 10-15 days. Then I had to go visit a doctor and they gave me a couple of, pills to easily pass the motion. Then I finally got rid of the fear. But it's very common after postpartum. It can happen to even women who have gone through C-section as well, because of the pain they might feel due to the stitches. And for me, it was just scary. That those 15 days were extremely scary for me. But the thing is, I knew the cause of my constipation. So if you have constipation, severe constipation for a prolonged period of time, and you're not able to pinpoint the constipation, it can be cause of diabetes or thyroid or any other condition. That's why it's better to not ignore a constipation if you don't know the reason for it. Let's talk about this another box I was talking about. I'm going to talk about laxatives. I'm sure you've seen in many comedy movies where people put laxative in other people's drink to, make them give a bad day. So we're going to talk about laxatives, how to use it, is it good, is it bad? So let's get into it. Laxatives are known to produce the perfect little pile. They can even coax the shyest of the shyest guts into go about with their business. Now, which laxative to use? It has to be recommended by a physician. But sometimes a physician fails to mention a very important rule, which is a 3-day rule. And even if your doctor has told you or hasn't told you, this is something that you need to know. And it's for your knowledge about laxatives. It's called the 3-day rule. Okay, hear me out. I think I'll use a diagram to help explain this. Now, the large intestine is divided into 3 sections. So when we go to the toilet, the first section is emptied, and the next day, the second section moves on to the first section. But when you take a laxative, all the 3 sections are emptied in one go. So whenever you take a laxative and you are done with your business, and if you haven't pooped for the next 3 days, please wait and don't panic, because you've emptied all 3 sections in one go, and it can take up to 3 days to fill those up. But what most people do is they take, out of fear, they take the second dose of laxative immediately on the next day, and the vicious cycle keeps repeating. Be very careful and remember the 3-day rule when it comes to laxative. Even if you're discussing with a friend, just remember the 3-day rule. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed filming it and writing it down. And that's it. I hope to see you soon with many more useful videos, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.